Oh, hey. What up? Thought I'd throw a video up, mostly because Fox News managed to piss me off again. They always do that, but I mean, sometimes I think they're put on this earth to make me mad. Uh, so recently they had a whole documentary chronicling food stamps, and they point out 47 million Americans are on food stamps and try to blame Obama. They ignore the recession for the most part. But the thing that pisses me off most of all, the thing that really just pisses me off, is they keep trying. They're trying to say that there's a cultural move to make people dependent on the government and not dependent on their own labor, on their own work, on their own self work, their self reliance. Trying to say that these people are lazy or bums, and they highlight that by finding one guy, one jackass in California who's which is like I watched it and it just seemed fabricated to me because nobody could be that much of a jackass. But maybe it was real. Maybe it was real. Maybe he's just a jackass. They found one guy that gets $200 a month on food stamps and he uses it to buy lobsters and stuff. Um, okay, you found one case of fraud. One case. Um, wow. Again, 47 million Americans are on food stamps, and you could only be bothered to find one like grotesque case of fraud. Okay, but I mean the thing that's overlooked here is this concept that the right wing media is portraying, that people are losing the value of work. They're losing the value of their labor. Self reliance. They're not being self reliant, going out to get going to the government for food stamps. In a video I'm linking here, the guy talks about, well, Republicans think that you should go to your community for help. Well, who the fuck is the community? The community is the government. Like, we are the community. We elect people. Like, what the fuck do they mean by that? Like, he's like, oh, you just go to your family for help. Well, us workers happen to be all fucking poor. We do go to our families for help, and we help as best we can. Whether it's providing shelter because everybody's becoming fucking homeless, or food assistance when we can, because getting on food stamps is actually kind of difficult. It's not easy. Um, my God, and it's really it's just irritating because it overlooks the entire problem. Wages are way the fuck too low. Wages are too damn low. Like, Walmart's the number one employer in the United States. They're effectively subsidized by the government, by both state, local governments. I'm sure the federal government somehow subsidized. Yeah, they do through the food stamp program and a Medicare, because Walmart will not pay its workers a living wage. Throwing links down there. I always throw links. Everything I say has got a link. There's going to be a lot of links, of course. So I hopefully you have time to do some reading. I'm try to make it easy by putting all the links in one location. You kind of have to read the links, or just believe me blindly. That's cool too. Well, actually, that's not cool. Don't do that. Um, but yeah, I mean, wages are just too damn low, and that's the problem. Um, and it's just breathtaking to me. I got into a debate. Well, I didn't really get into a debate. I commented on it to a conservative online, because he was, throwing this meme around that uh, waitresses and waiters who work at restaurants were making sometimes only $2 and what was it, $2.43. I don't know, and something or other, in minimum wage, because they're the tips are supposed to match up to what the federal minimum wage is of $7.25, or it's supposed to exceed that. But basically, waitresses and waiters don't receive pay. They live off of tips, so they live off of the gratuity of the customer. So they bring you steak or whatever. If you don't tip them, they don't eat. you know. Um, but anyhow, he brought that up, and it was weird because he's like, you know, these federal wage controls, how are they benefiting these people? And and he's pointing out like the wage is really low. Oh, how is it helping these people? I'm just like, so not having the wage at all, so that they could be paid like a nickel an hour would be better. Like, no, the problem is the wage is too low. It's too low. So I pointed it out. I'm like, yeah, these are hardworking folk. That wage is too low. That's the problem. Not the fact that there's a wage control, that there's a minimum wage law. The problem isn't that there's a minimum wage law. The problem is that the wage is too low. So the law is too low. $7.25 an hour is too low. People that work at restaurants, and restaurants are notorious for finding loopholes around minimum wage laws. Like, they're good at that shit. But anyhow, or at least in America, because in America you gotta, if you work at a restaurant, you gotta be tipped, or you die. Um, but like the cognitive dissonance there, or yeah, I'm going with that one. The lack of thought on it, just the lack of common sense that, well, the wage is too low, and that's because that's the law. The law says the wage can't go below that. Well, the problem is the law shouldn't exist. That way, the wages will go up. No, they'll go down further. Oh God. Anyhow, the Fox News' attack on food stamps is just plumb idiotic. I'm putting links down there for that. Also links to Fox News, of course, and watch their perspective. And I mean, it's pretty much bullshit watching it. But are there a lot of people on food stamps? Well, clearly there are. 47 million or 47.5 million, give or take, are on food stamps. That is a sign the economy is not functioning properly. Definitely, because food stamps is a program of last resort. It's where you go when your income is atrociously low, where you need supplemental assistance for food. And that doesn't even account for people who make more than the allotted amount. So if you make, I believe it's $24,000 or more, you can't qualify for food stamps. So if you make more than that, you don't qualify for food stamps, but your income is severely restricted already because you're not making that much more. And so it's just dumb. So yeah, wages are too low. That's the problem, and nobody's talking about it. It's just every now and then they're like, "Oh, it's like a top of the hat there to raising wages," but really they're just not talking about it. Yeah, Fox News pisses me off. Like, I I don't know. I don't know. They just piss me off. So yeah, I mean, is there waste and fraud in food stamps? Of course there is. Uh, but out of 47 million people, it's not going to be that high. It's just,